Today we're going to take a walk over to my messy workbench because I have a couple of interesting tools I want to show you guys that I think you're going to like, especially if you're doing your own guitar setups. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I took you over to the messy workbench, and today I have a couple of interesting tools that I picked up. I decided to spoil myself with something cool, and I want to share that with you guys, and I think you guys might appreciate what I'm going to show you here today, especially if you're doing your own guitar setups. I'm going to be working on this guitar, and I think the new tools that I just purchased are going to make my life so much easier. So let's get straight to it. Let's go over to the messy workbench and show you what I have in store. I've been working on this guitar for a little bit. I decided to pull it out. This is my little rocker Telecaster, and I showed you this build before in my videos. I just wanted to go back and take a second run at slotting the nut on this guitar because I did the first pass relatively quickly. Since then, you know, I had time to play with the guitar, and I did notice that I can be a little bit more refined with the quality of the slotting that I did from the original setup. And I also got some cool tools that I think are going to help me do a better job. So I wanted to show you that, and I wanted to explain something to you guys so that you guys understand that quality tools make a huge difference when you're working on guitars. Now, I'm going to show you something that you probably didn't see before, and I'm a little embarrassed, to be honest, because this is the cheapness of some of the tools that I was using to previously do my nut slots. And you're probably, maybe you've never seen anything like this before. These are custom made files that I had made for me. And basically what they are feeler gauges, standard feeler gauges that have been cut and milled with teeth in them. As you can see, you can probably see some of the teeth here. I don't know how well that shows up on camera. You can see the teeth. This is what I was using to be able to slot my nut here. And the reason why I was using these, and I've actually been using these for a long time, it's because they're cheap. They were relatively cheap compared to a good quality set of nut files. So because I'm cheap, or frugal, as I like to say, I kind of made do with these. Are they the best? No. Did they do the job? Kind of. They kind of did. With a little TLC, I was able to get the results I needed from them, but they're far from being quality tools for doing any kind of nut slotting, right? I've experimented with other things as well. So one of the other tools that I purchased to do some nut slotting are these relatively inexpensive tools that you can find on eBay. You can find these pretty much anywhere. eBay has them, Amazon has them. Basically, they're two-sided. I'll show you these. Two-sided, so here you have the ENG, and you have 0.17 to 0.46. So one side is one thickness, the other side is another thickness. They're okay, but not better than that. They're not exactly good quality, and they're not very consistent. You can see, you know, the quality of the teeth. It leaves a little bit to be desired. Okay, you can make them work, but honestly, you're not making your life any easier. So here I am today. I decided to splurge. I went over to Solo Guitars. This is why you have this. Today's video is kind of like an unboxing video. So Solo Guitars, if you don't know Solo Guitars, go check them out. They have everything that you could possibly need, and they're also in Canada, so very convenient for me. And they basically will have most of the parts that you need when you're working on your guitar. Not just tools to set up your guitars, but also anything you would need to actually, you know, improve your guitar, from tuners to pickups to wiring. But I decided to splurge, and I got myself a set of Hosco nut files. So there's 10 sizes in this package. They're made in Japan. good quality stuff. Hosco, in my opinion, has been making really great files for a long time. They're made in Japan, okay? And you can see there's the website here, www.hosco.co.jp. I don't know if you can see that. But if you want to go and check them out on their website, you can get more information on their files here. And the set is not cheap. Okay, it's $194.99. This is one of the reasons why it took me such a long time to actually make this investment. I could never really bring myself to spending $200 on a set of nut files for my guitar. But you know what? The time has come, folks, and I want to share this with you so you can see the difference, okay? So I'm going to just pull out this set. As you can see here, there's a whole bunch of gauges. They're not in order, they're just mixed up at the moment. But you have everything from the thinnest 10 gauge, I'm going to say here. I don't know if I can show you that one. This is 16, 24. This one's 56. This one's 10. Okay, so I'll show you a thick one and I'll show you a thin one, just so you can see the difference and maybe make it out on camera. It's a little hard because, you know, they're very fine detail. But this one, which is the 0.056, so you'd use this for the thicker strings up here. Nice and rounded edge, and the teeth are on both sides of these files. So you can use either side, very good quality. You can tell just by running your finger on the teeth how nicely they cut. I can already feel it. And because the surface is rounded, it basically will give you the shape you need for your string, and you don't have to struggle with it. See? So this is the thicker one. I'm going to show you the thinnest in the bunch here. This is very, very thin. I'm going to say, like, it's even hard to take out of the package. It's so thin. But I'm going to try to get it out for you guys. Let's see here. It's kind of snagged in there because it's so thin. Check this out. Look how thin this thing is. If I put it sideways, it pretty much disappears, right? This is a 0.010. So this is what you would use for your high E string here. And it is flexible, as you can see, but it won't break. That's the beauty of it. And this should make short work out of slotting. You just have to go back and forth a couple of times, and they cut so well. Huge difference between what I was using previously, which was kind of like, you know, trying to cut steak with a very dull knife. These ones, on the other hand, are completely different. So yes, they're expensive, but it's a game changer in terms of the quality of the cut that you're going to get. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. I also got this. This is a very cool thing. It's a Hosco step gauge for guitar. Now you've probably already seen some of those step gauges that you can get off of eBay, off of Amazon, that cost like $7. They're okay, but they're not very precise. This one here is a game changer. I'm going to show you why. So it comes in a really nice package like this. This is like almost like a package that you would use to carry your business cards in. Comes with an insert. This insert basically shows you the different ways you can use the actual step gauge, but I'll explain it to you in a second. You also have a QR code right there in case you want to go to the website and check out more information. I'll put that right there. This is the step gauge. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's also extremely thin. Compared to the ones that you get off of eBay and Amazon, this thing is very, very thin. Okay, it's probably thinner than this piece of paper right here. And to me, that's a plus, because you can get into nooks and crannies that you can't get into with thicker gauges or thicker rulers. Now, I was using the cheap gauge that you can get off of Amazon. I was also using this, which is just a very simple metric and imperial ruler, small ruler, relatively thick, with, you know, a series of conversion tables on the other side of it. But you're going to see why this is not as good as this, okay? Let me explain it to you real quick. First of all, here you have a couple of different things. You have the ability on one side, right over here, you have steps, like you can feel them with my fingernail, um, steps for nut slots. So this little piece that sticks out and this little piece that sticks out will sit on your fretboard. It will span or bridge the fret so it doesn't get in the way. And then with your string removed, you would slide this into your nut slot, keeping this and this touching your fretboard. And then you can see exactly how high your nut slot is. Okay, you can just basically measure it, slide it over till you can, having these both flat on your fretboard, you can see how high or how deep your nut slot is, which is extremely difficult to do with any other tool. This one, because it's so thin, will fit even into the high E string, which the thicker ones just can't do. So that's number one. Number two, you have two different types of measurements here for the crown of your frets. So again, you would sit this on your fretboard, and then you would be able to measure the crown, the height of the crown, with this series of curved steps here. And you have two. So you have this one on this side, and you have this one on this side. The reason why you have two is because they're different heights. So one is slightly higher than the other. So depending on the height of your frets, you could get an accurate reading for either one. And the other cool thing here on this side, you have a series of slots. I don't know if you can see this, but you can actually, I don't know if how I can show you this, but there's actually little cuts made across the entire length of the measurement side of this string gauge, string action gauge. And so you can actually see through this. So when you have it on your board, it's a lot easier to read than it would be. I don't know if I can show you. How can I show you how? I'm going to have to change the angle of the camera. Give me a sec. Can you see the slots, right? You can see through the slots. Well, it makes spotting the height of your string way easier if you have it at the light coming out from the back of it. Measuring the height of your frets would be with this end or this end, depending on the height of your frets. And then of course, if you're measuring the height of your slot, you would put this down without the string in place, put this down and slide it into your slot, and you'd be able to get an accurate reading of the depth of your nut slot. I think it's going to be a game changer. Honestly, the reason why is because every half a millimeter when it comes to setting up your guitar makes such a difference in the final feel of the guitar. I can be a lot more accurate than I can ever be with one of these, and those cheap big business card type gauges really don't cut it that well. So I highly recommend getting one of these. Here you can get the back view. You can see the little slots cut into it there. To me, this is going to be a game changer, well worth the money. It's like you're investing in the quality of your setup. So it's not cheap between the two of these things. I mean, it's a little expensive, but these kind of tools, if you don't lose them or break them, will last you a lifetime. So I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Solo Guitars, they have everything you need. I love shopping there. I've never been disappointed with the quality of their products, and I'm sure I'm going to be a happy camper with this. So I'm going to get right back to setting up my guitar and hopefully have, end up with a way better slotted nut and a way better feeling guitar. So I recommend you guys take a look at these tools for yourselves. If you're doing your own setups, why make your life harder than it already is? Get the right tools, man. It took me a long time to realize that I was missing out, but I think I made a proper decision, and I'm moving towards the right direction in terms of getting all the tools that I need to make my setups even better than they are. If you don't have the right tools, it's kind of hard. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the Messy Workbench edition. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and you like this kind of information, please subscribe. There'll be more coming your way. See you soon.